Welcome to AntiSlave Question Everything.
Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything.
Welcome to AntiSlave Question Everything.
Question everything. Question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything.
AntiSlave Question Everything.
Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Welcome to Anti-slave question everything.
Hello and welcome. Thank you all for tuning in to yet another fun-filled episode of AntiSlave Question Everything. As usual, this is your host, Beau Diggles, and I'm here to spread some truth in a world that's fucking full of lies. Today, we're going to be talking to my good friend Chris, again, about simulation theory, DMT, the double slit experiment, the Mandela effects, artificial intelligence, and even more. I went off on a lot of tangents in this conversation. Regardless of that, though, it's still a good one, and I encourage you to listen to it. But before we get to this conversation, there's a few things that I would like to say. My podcast is now available on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and if you happen to be listening to this on either of those platforms, I would really appreciate if you follow my show and left me a review. Specifically on Spotify now, it seems that I could give this drop-down menu thing. After you're done watching the episode or listening to the episode, if you scroll down, it will say, "What did you think of the show?" If you do so feel inclined to, you can leave a review. You could literally type some shit up, and if you do so, I'd very much so appreciate it, man. Any feedback is madly appreciated, and I love to hear what you guys have to say. Now, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, I'd appreciate it if you'd like the video and subscribe to my channel. Going forward, I'm going to have to tone down what I put on my YouTube because they're getting pissed at me, and I don't want to lose my YouTube, so I'm just going to kind of have to abide by their standards. Y'all that know me know, though, I don't like abiding by anybody's standards. I don't give a fuck. So to my YouTube audience, I do encourage you to find and follow me on another alternative platform. Rumble, Spotify, BitChute. Just look up AntiSlave QE and you will definitely fucking find me. For my socials, I do got Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and all of those accounts are just at AntiSlave QE. I also have a subreddit that I post pretty hard-hitting conspiracy content to pretty consistently, and if you'd like to join that, you can at r/AntiSlaveQE. I also now have a Discord, and if I'm able to, I will post the invite link to my server in the description of this video. So if you guys want to, you can come and be a part of the conversation on there. If not, it's whatever. I'm just happy that you're here listening to this now. If you are a listener and you have something interesting that you would like to chat with me about on my show, a theory, experience, or anything, you can email me directly at antislaveqe@outlook.com. You can also message me at any of the other provided social network accounts. I will also include my LinkedIn in the description of this episode so everything is super easy to find. Now, with all of that out of the way, I present to you my conversation with my buddy Chris, the part 2 to the last episode that I released, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Godspeed, amigos. I'm out. Bye.
You
are listening to
AntiSlave Question Everything.
All right. Hello and welcome to yet another fun-filled episode of AntiSlave Question Everything. This is the #1 internet show in America amongst my 2 cats and daughter. Tonight, we are again talking to Chris, and we're going to be talking about some crazy shit, man. Chris, how are you doing tonight, bro?
Doing good. How are you doing, Beau?
I'm doing all right, man. I appreciate you coming back on. The last conversation that we had was a really fucking awesome conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome, dude. And like I said, when we last talked, I was like, we could do a part 2, and that was a week ago, I believe. No, that was way more than a week ago. I released that a week ago.
Right.
But so here we are now, a week later, doing this part 2. We're going to be talking again on simulation theory, dimethyltryptamine and how that pertains to it. And also topic of discussion tonight is going to be about the Slit experiment, which I mentioned last time on our last episode, but I didn't have a name for it.
You gotta say it right. You still didn't say it right. The double slit experiment. It's important if someone's going to look it up. Right,
for sure. I actually had one of the listeners, dude, hit me up, a guy from the UK, and he was like, "Oh, I know the experiment you were talking about." And it was something that I have heard about, and then I was paraphrasing, double slit experiment?
Yeah, double slit experiment.
Cool. So yeah, so I was totally paraphrasing, but somebody heard me paraphrasing, knew what I was talking about, and then messaged me and was like, "Bro, this is what it was," and sent me an article about it, or sent me
I knew what you meant. I almost said it. I was going to bring it up again, so here we are. That's perfect.
Isn't that crazy how those synchronicities just kind of align?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking A, dude. But so anyways, dude, the double slit experiment. Um, basically what it was is that they took a sheet of metal, right? And they cut two slits into it, and then they shined light through it, right? And
Mhm.
they were believing. See, I'm paraphrasing like a motherfucker. Let me pull this up real quick because I do, like I said, have an article about it. Um, I'm going to try to read this the best way that I can, but I am a functional illiterate, so bear with me, guys. The double slit experiment seems simple enough. Cut two slits in a sheet of metal and send light through them, first as a constant wave, then in individual particles. What happens, though, is anything but simple, in fact. It's what started science down the bizarre road of quantum mechanics. In the early 1800s, the majority of scientists believed that light was made up of particles, not waves. English scientist Thomas Young had a hunch that the particle theory wasn't the end of the story and set out to prove that light was a wave. He knew that waves interacted in predictable ways, and if he could demonstrate those interactions with light, he could prove that light was indeed a wave. So he set up an experiment. He cut two slits in a sheet of metal and shone light through them onto a screen. If light were indeed made of particles, the particles that hit the sheet would bounce off, and those that passed through the slits would create the image of two slits on the screen, sort of like spraying paint on a stencil. But if light were a wave, it would do something very different. Once they passed through the slits, the light waves would spread out and interact with one another. Where the waves met crest to crest, they'd strengthen each other and leave a brighter spot in the screen. Where they met crest to crest, though, they would cancel each other out, leaving a dark spot in the screen. That would produce what's called an interference pattern of one very bright slit shape surrounded by echoes of gradually darker slit shapes on either side. Sure enough, that's what happened. Light traveled in waves. All's well and ends well, right? Keep reading. ... Around the turn of the 20th century, a few scientists began to refine this idea. Max Planck suggested that light and other types of radiation come in discrete amounts and that it's quantized. And Albert Einstein proposed the idea of the photon, a quantum of light that behaves like a particle. As a result, he said, that light was both a particle and a wave. So back to the double slit experiment. Remember when we said if light were a particle, it would create a sort of spray paint stencil pattern instead of an interference pattern. By using a special tool, you can actually send light particles through the slits one by one. But when scientists did this, something strange happened. The interference pattern still showed up. This suggests something very, very weird is going on. The photons seem to know where they would go if they were in a wave. It's as if a theater audience showed up without seat assignments, but each person still knew exactly what seat to choose in order to fill the theater correctly. As Popular Mechanics puts it, this meant that all possible paths of these particles can interfere with each other, even though only one of the possible paths actually happens. All realities exist at once, a concept known as superposition, until the final result occurs. Weirder still, when scientists placed detectors at each slit to determine which slit each photon was passing through, the interference pattern disappeared. That suggests that the very act of observing the photons collapses those many realities into one. Mind-blowing, right? It is for scientists too, which is why quantum mechanics is one of the most hotly debated areas of modern science.
That sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, are you following it really well? Because I know it really well. I could paraphrase it real quickly if you want.
I would love it. Yeah.
So an interference pattern. Wait, let me back up. So, like they're saying, photons can behave like either a particle or a wave, right? So if they're in their wave form and they're all traveling together, they should create what's called an interference pattern. And that is exactly like, if you had a pond and you drop two stones in it, where the ripples meet each other creates a very specific pattern, and they call that an interference pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're looking for, is that interference pattern. You can identify it, you know what you're looking at. So the when light is in a waveform, it does the same thing. So the thought is that when if you fire the photons through the two slits, that should go away, right? And it'll just, like you said, it'll make just two slits on the detector screen behind the slits. You would expect to find just two lines there where they went through the slits, but they don't. It reassembles back into that interference pattern, which is really weird. It comes down to the observer. Since nobody was looking, there wasn't specifically something right there at those slits observing each photon as they went through. That means there was no observer, right? So what that means is it never happened, essentially, right? And so they were able to just pretend like that didn't even occur and go right back the way they were again. But when you look at it, now they've been observed, so they know they can't get away with the trick anymore. There's someone saw us do it, so now we got to go into the slit pattern. And why in the hell would a particle do that, right? I mean, are they conscious? What is happening
What
here?
the fuck? That is mind blowing, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, okay. I'm
really
glad
is.
you paraphrased that. I'm glad you did paraphrase that, because the analogy with like the puddles, like in my head, it was kind of really going together, like throwing two stones into a pond and the interference pattern. That makes more sense now. But yeah, dude, they put something up there to observe the tomfoolery that was going on, and as soon as there was somebody with a fucking eye on it, said tomfoolery stopped dead in its tracks.
That's when science gets on board with crazy right there. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It is so weird. That's what started the entire field of quantum physics right there. And
right,
it's like reality won't do what we think it's supposed to do unless we're looking at it. So
right.
If you ain't looking, it ain't there.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
That is so mind-blowing. And like, really, honestly, I think I was gonna say, I think I was listening to a podcast that said this. But I think honestly, I think I was interviewing somebody on my podcast that said this, but they were talking. I can't remember. I'm gonna sound like a douchebag if that's not the case. But I think I remember having a conversation with somebody, and what they said to me was fucking awesome. Like back in the day when it was like Albert Einstein and they were first figuring out physics, and you were going to ask like a scientist about simulation theory or about the idea of parallel realities, they say, of course I don't believe that. I'm a scientist. But nowadays, now that science has taken such a fucking fat leap, right? And they're starting to figure out the shit with the Higgs boson, with CERN, with antimatter and pentaquarks and all the crazy shit. You say, hey, what do you think about or do you believe in simulation theory or alternate reality? They say, of course, I'm a scientist.
Right. Yeah, it's nuts how things can change in a short amount of time.
Yeah, man. I think that was Marcel that said that. If I don't know, I'm tripping. I might be tripping. I think
it's just so cool that it's gone in a stranger direction.
Yeah,
it's really intriguing.
Like super intriguing, dude. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy, and like that shit just doesn't make sense.
Well, it really doesn't. I mean, it kind of goes back to the whole reality doesn't exist. It's all in our heads. You know what I mean? It's only there if you're looking at it because it's in your head. You know what I mean? If you're not looking at it, then it literally isn't there.
That's so crazy, dude. That is so crazy. That is so fucking wild to me. What do you think about CERN and the shit that they're doing with the stuff while they're trying to pull from the Higgs boson? Do you think that maybe with there being like with there being so with this shit having with the double slit experiment, right? And we see that there's data that we get that is basically it's like inconclusive data almost, right? When they're looking at that and they're seeing that, gives idea that maybe there's something more than what's going on, right? Than what we think is going on, what natural, what the physics that we have been explained thus far, makes sense. But like, what do you think about CERN though? What do you think about CERN with the shit, how the Higgs boson What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, they're doing good work there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're trying to assemble a picture of reality, and they're really, putting their full effort into it, and I applaud that for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, and I hope that they keep going because I want to find out everything that they come up with. But backing up, like we just said, if you're not looking at it, it ain't there. And this is just my own crazy thought, is that the farther into this thing that they drill down, getting more and more data on it, like it's forcing reality to become more complex the deeper they go because they're looking. Like before, it didn't have to bother to manifest all of that. You know what I mean? So
Oh fuck.
hopefully logic holds up, and that as the things they find can actually make sense. But it's coming to a point where like I feel like reality's scrambling around to come up with an answer real quick because we're looking so deep now. You know what I mean? They're about at the point where it's going to fall apart, if you ask me.
Really, honestly, dude. And like, so I've entertained the thought that maybe that CERN with them ramping up the shit with the like ramping the shit up like the way that they have.
They're cranking up the power levels.
I've thought, dude, maybe this is a cause of Mandela effects, right? So if we think that like if our reality is having to level up so quickly, right? And like if you think about a computer that is updating, sometimes some data in that system gets destroyed, corrupted, left behind, changed, compressed,
Could be, but I mean, I think you're right. I mean that happens, and then possibly they are, bringing on more of the Mandela effect. But I think the truth is, even without them doing that, it happens all the time.
Why do you think that is, though? Like, do you believe in the Mandela effects the way that people believe in them? Like, because, dude, I have some.
So. Yeah, I do.
Like King Tut, dude. King fucking Tut. King fucking Tut. I never remember there being a fucking bird on his head, dog. And I was big on. I mean, I'm sorry. A cobra and a bird. Now there's a cobra and a bird now. I always remember there only being a fucking cobra. I had Scooby-Doo action figures, that were the Scooby-Doo Egypt action figure set, right? And I specifically remember Scooby-Doo only having the cobra on his head. I go back and I look at the Scooby-Doo cartoons. He's got the fucking dude. The only thing that I have found that does not depict Tut with a bird on his head now is Tuttenstein, which is like an old cartoon on Nickelodeon, and I think he like it's a botched resemblance. It doesn't even look like he has like a cobra on his head, but there's only one scepter thing on his crown, and it's just that's the only thing that I have found that even pertains to my past idea of what King Tut used to be.
You're right. I mean, as for specific examples, I don't know. I mean, probably, but I mean, I think that the Mandela effect has always been going on, and it's just a property of the way we perceive reality. I mean, if there's really infinite realities and they're constantly all meshing around with each other, hell, I wake up in the morning and I literally question, is this the life I was in when I went to sleep? I mean, I could be waking up in a completely different scenario altogether, and we would have no idea because you wake up with all new memories implanted. I mean, it really is stranger than we can imagine. It's I think it's changing all the time.
Right.
Just because we're catching a few examples. I mean, well, that's very cool, really, if we're catching any examples, because I don't think we're really meant to. But
Jiffy peanut butter is another one. It's Jif now.
Yeah.
Just straight Jif.
Right. No, I agree with that one. That used to be.
It used to be Jiffy. It used to be fucking Jiffy, bro. I know it used to be. I asked my grandpa. You can't even tell my grandpa. You can't even tell my grandpa that it's Jiffy. He'll be like, no, that's fucking Jiffy. I know, Gramps. I know. That's what I say too. But then you show it to him and he's like, no, they changed the name. Well, when we look back at the patents of Jif, it's actually been Jif this whole fucking time.
Right.
That's a really big one. Obviously the Berenstain
Right.
Bears, super weird. Another one that was really crazy was the fact that people remembered getting their photos taken up in the Statue of Liberty, right? Up on the top
Oh
of it.
yeah, I've heard that one too.
Yeah, so they're like they swear to God, that they've had their photo taken inside of the Statue of Liberty, and but turns out you're not allowed to go up there, and you never have been. Another big one too is where the Statue of Liberty even is. Is it on Liberty Island or is it on Ellis Island? You know,
Right. Right.
That's another big one that people like, and I've been on fucking Discord panels before, and I've mentioned that, and homeboy was like, "No, it's on this island. I went there as a kid," and I was like, "Well, buddy, this is a Mandela effect. Look it up." And he looks at what the fuck, and I'm like, "Yeah, see, yeah, see, kind of weird, huh? You're misremembering, or I'm crazy, you know." One of the fucking two.
I don't know. Make me laugh. I gotta wonder if in fact anybody's in charge of all of that. They're probably laughing at us. Oh, they figured out the peanut butter. They think they're so smart because yesterday they were lizards.
Yeah. literally, dude. Fucking A. That is so crazy to me. Mandela effects, bro. And like the original shit, it was like, what happened to Nelson Mandela? Did he die in prison or did he not die in prison? How do you remember it?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. It's gone on for so long that the specific instances I think have gotten too muddied up in my brain.
Literally, right?
Too many times. But like the Statue of Liberty and the peanut butter and Berenstain Bears, all that. I mean, yeah, I agree. It seems to be a thing. You know, I don't know. I don't think it's all that mind blowing though, because I think it's just all permeable and it's always all changing all the time anyway.
Right.
That's what I've learned from DMT. To be honest with you, reality is just not what it seems to be. It gives us the impression of something solid, but that's bullshit.
Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, yeah, I know it too. It's really after having the experiences that I have had, not and they haven't honestly really been many. I mean, I guess there were a lot of them because I did do DMT a decent amount of times. A lot of them though kind of seems like I forgot like the experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're hard to hold on to.
Though I did have like something that I can like when I was in the hospital, bro, like when I had gotten really, really fucking sick, I had weird experiences that were similar to DMT, like watching my body and shit. When I was in there getting like all the shit that was happening to me. I
cool.
seen all that shit from like a third, but it was weird because it was like I wasn't attacked, like I didn't really know, I was just kind of seeing this avatar getting all fucking plunged up with fucking machines and shit. And it was just kind of freaky. But I remember like that the way that felt kind of being like out of body feeling, and then like the actual last time that I did do DMT, it was after I had gotten out of the hospital and had my like actual near death experience. And I think that I remember because I hit the pipe, dude, and then I just started freaking out. I was like, who am I? Who am I? Who are you? Like I started freaking out because I feel like it kind of reminded me. I don't know. It wasn't like I blasted off. You know what I'm saying? It was like I kind of got there, and then
it was enough.
that in between, it kind of I think might have reminded myself of how it felt when I was in the hospital, and then I started freaking the fuck out, and then I haven't done it
in between's a hard spot to be at.
Right. No, totally, because you're still kind of conscious of the fact that you're a human, but you also are like I've done it before, dude, where I've smoked some DMT and then forgot that I've smoked DMT or what DMT is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or
yeah,
I just how the what? I'm here. Where is here? How did I get here? Who am I? And because I still have physical attachment. What the fuck? Functional, literal. He was a retard. But I still have like fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like I still kind of felt attached to my body. The times that I did have the best DMT experiences were the times where I completely detached from myself, all past regressions, all any type of like anything bad that I felt in my life. You know what I'm saying? I've had,
absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like those are the best experiences that I've had when I kind
When
of
you
let
let
go,
go
bro.
of all your dramas.
Right. Exactly. And just be kind of fucking. So, dude, back to the fucking double slit experiment, bro. They were light source from far away, right? Two slits.
Right.
And then they put the light source directly up to those two slits.
I don't. Most of the articles don't really get into that, and it isn't necessary. But just suffice it to say that they're capable of taking a light source and breaking it down to where individual photons can go this way or that. I mean, they can do some really creative stuff with, very focused beams. I mean, and that's real science. That's kind of fundamental stuff. Not really calling any of that into question. It's more what the particles do, once, and they have tried ever since then. They have tried that experiment every which way, backwards, upside down, observing this, observing that. I mean, they'll send it through two slits, then one slit, and then two slits again. They have tried everything they possibly can, and it never acts like they think it's going to. You can observe it at one and then not observe it at the other, and I can't even begin to explain all of it, but they have continued to work on that experiment, and trying to make any rational sense out of it just never happens.
That's fucking crazy, dude. I wonder if there'd be a way to like reproduce the experiment at home on a very simple level.
That's an interesting question. I'll bet not, though.
No, like let's say
Just
like
because we
let's say
can't
some
focus
fucking
beams of protons the way, or photons the way they do.
but like if you're looking at shadows through two slits on like a piece of paper.
Maybe I shouldn't speak. I shouldn't speak because I don't know. I haven't tried to look that up at all.
I haven't even tried.
That
I
would be
was
fun
thinking
though.
that would be fun. I think I might do that, bro. I think I might try to
Well,
do that
check it
my
out.
own.
I don't know. You might be completely wrong, or I might be. I'm not sure.
Bro, that'd be some crazy shit. What if we could fucking prove simulation theory with a flashlight and a fucking piece of paper? You know?
That reminds me, I mean, you run across dudes on Reddit and all sorts of weird things. This guy had an idea. Oh, what was it? You had to smoke an exact specific amount of DMT, and then he had this laser that was in the right range or whatever, and you had to shine it at a certain angle on the wall, and he would swear you can read the code. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's possible he's right, but I think there's a lot more crazy than there's truth when you find stuff like that on the internet, you know.
Well, people do be diving deep and shit, and like you like, bro, we got the fucking the CIA done spent money on figuring out remote viewing, astral projection, and like spirit guide shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if government organizations are spending money on this type of research, there's obviously something there to it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's worth looking into is really all that says. I mean, just because they're government agencies doesn't mean that, I give them zero credit for
Oh,
being
I give them
smarter than
zero credit.
anybody else, to be
I
honest.
give them zero credit, but I also understand that they like, I mean, fuck them, but I also understand that like when they see shit like bro, they fucking ties with Aleister Crowley and shit, chaos magicians. They fucking knew of the other side. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
all of this shit pertains to that, and it does in different and weird ways, like with the manipulation of energy and chaos magicians like Aleister Crowley and all the shit that he was doing. Like it was tapping into this other side, you know what I'm saying? And they're reaching these extremely high levels of consciousness in which they're fucking flying over planes and talking to these other fucking to these entities and shit. Like there's a fucking there's a shortcut, you know. You can
There's a cheat code.
you there's a cheat code,
Dimethyltryptamine.
there you go. And literally I mean there's a reason why peyote, ayahuasca, the shit that they do with the plant medicine and stuff, people that are spiritual healers, people that are people that practice astral projection, people that practice astral projection use DMT. You know, I've read forums. You know what I'm saying? That's a really
Makes sense to me.
you know what I'm saying? It's a good way to do it.
Sure.
You know, but there are actually other people out there that can reach those planes without having to smoke DMT from a pipe. You know what I'm saying? They can
Well, yeah, I mean,
experience
the
that
ability
shit.
is in our brains. That just makes it more accessible to average Joe, you know?
Right. Because I feel like you have to be more like you have to be more tapped in. And there are people that are like super tapped in like that. Like
Sure.
my
Just
cousin
naturally.
Justin, like he did a lot of shit where he fucking went to other countries and shit, places, and learned a bunch of shit from other tribes and shit, and like and now, and you know what I'm saying? And the he's super tapped in, bro. Like just talking to him, he's super tapped in. um he seems like one of those types of people that are just super tapped in. I mean, we got the people like they and they show it to us in like the media and shit, you know, like Stranger Things with 11 and Stranger
Yeah.
Things, you know,
Right.
with her mind powers and stuff like that. 11 is actually based off of a real person. She's based off of a fucking Russian chick that
Oh, really?
could supposedly bend spoons and shit with her mind, and was very, very, very much so involved with the CIA and MK Ultra. And like it be like, and you can see it in Stranger Things. They're basically admitting it with Papa and the agency that's there that's training 11. That's
Right.
fucking real. That's a fucking documentary, bro. And the Demigorgons and the shit that is shown in that show is just representation of like the dark entities that do exist in this realm, you know. And they do work on fucking getting into cahoots with them, just because of the fact that they've existed for so long, and they know this
Makes sense.
power. They can manipulate this power. So that's why we have people that are doing this or this and selling their soul to the devil. You don't really sell your soul to the devil. You just give up your free will and you become a channeler to an entity. And then now you don't have free will, you know?
Right.
You got to listen to a company who's an actual physical company and they're actual physical people, but these people are tapped into these entities and they're like, okay, you're going to do this, and this. You don't have any, you know, that's why we got these rappers that are doing, oh, blah, 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 and they're fucking, blah, 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 and they're all famous and shit, but they're doing ritualistic shit and they're doing crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? They're just fucking, yeah. Yeah, they have to sell their free will. They don't have their free will anymore. They you know, they give themselves up, and then that's just
Yeah, to
what
hell with
happens.
that.
That's what I'm saying. To hell with that.
You're
Because
doing it wrong.
you are doing it wrong, bro. Because how long could you go? How long could you go drinking a fucking partying every night in clubs, fucking bitches every night? Like, all right, bro, check it out. On this day, you get to fuck this bitch, or this bitch, and drive this car, or this car. But on this day, you're driving a car and fucking a bitch, no matter what.
Right.
It's gonna get fucking old.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Sure.
get old. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck, dog. Like there's video games out there that I love, bro. I've got 6 months on RuneScape of my life that I've played away
Yeah.
on
Right.
RuneScape. 6 months of this, you know? Holy shit. I've been on here for like, I'm 26. I've been here for 50 months. 6 months of that I've played on RuneScape. I love RuneScape. However, would I like to give my free will up to RuneScape and just not be able to play anything but RuneScape? You know?
No. I
No,
mean, yeah, it's
exactly.
good to be mindful of that. You should never. I mean, we do it all the time, you know, give up our free will without realizing it. But anytime you can realize it and do something about it, you should.
Most definitely. Yeah. And yeah. Sorry, I went, like I said, I go off on tangents, and I'm not
That's
trying to
all
get
good.
too deep into the conspiracy driven shit, but yeah. Fucking crazy shit, dude. Super crazy shit. uh fuck. But fuck, dude, I can't even, it's just incomprehensible to me. It's also incomprehensible.
Well, you know, I agree. I just don't try. Just go with the flow and enjoy it. get your mind blown by it every now and then. That's a good part.
For sure. And I'm really thinking that like nowadays, like dude, people are starting to wake up on an astronomical level, bro.
Oh, for
Like
sure. I mean, as a species, we're maturing. You know what I mean?
we
You know,
are.
there's a lot of concepts that we're beginning to understand as a whole that we couldn't before, and a lot of things we're beginning to leave behind us that were pointless.
Right. And with like with shit that's like unexplainable power, right? I think last time when we talked a little bit like the ancient apocalypse show and like
Yeah,
Tatarian power and shit. Um, did I tell you about the bin stones last time?
yeah, you mentioned it.
So the bin stones, right? They're in the Smithsonian. I think that if all these stones were returned on top of these pyramids, that we'd bloop, all of a sudden have some
Sun
unfound
would light
power.
up.
Like literally, I believe that before we are what we are now, you know, like how you said last time when we talked, how they're showing you, hey, you can create, you can do this, you can do
Right.
this too. Just look, you can do this. Like I think that ability, bro, I think that we had that ability and that was kind of taken from us. And I honestly think that all kind of falls back down into the whole thing with like them. Like the powers that be taking that away initially to make us think that we're just like fucking animals, you know?
You're right about that because I mean, and that's been throughout history. You know what I mean? They want the power to be, you know, with the elite, not with the people, right?
Totally. And
So
dude,
that makes sense.
going into like that ancient history shit, dude. Okay. I was listening to the shit the other day that was kind of talking about that stuff, bro. And they were talking about um basically like just basically our civilization being about as old as like Rome, right? And then
Okay.
not too much before that, right? Like there being like there might have been shit before that, but then when the Roman Empire came on, they fucking started rewriting history, right?
You are very much right about that. Yeah, Rome has had a huge influence on erasing everything that came before it. They lost they erased a lot of our history that we are just missing now. Like I said, we're a species with amnesia. You know, there's a lot of clues that can be picked up, but there's so much lost.
So much lost. Like so, and then okay, so like entertain this too for a second, right? With the Romans, right? And the way that they thought that things should be, blah 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 blah. Bro, what if the powers that be that were controlling the shit at Rome, what if that bloodline still exists to this day?
It could.
And like, what if Rome never fucking fell, bro? What if Rome never fell? You know what I'm saying? What if that is this now? And like,
That would add up.
it would add up. Like, dude, back in the time
The
of the
Vatican's
Crusades,
still there. There's, you know.
yes, yes, bro. And not only that, but everything with like Jerusalem and all the shit. Like, what if these motherfuckers were going through and sandblasting hieroglyphs and repainting them and fucking making it look like this or this, and this is how it was? But bro, like, who's to fucking say, bro? I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've learned in my life, there's a lot of bullshit that's being talked in my schools, right? Like, I never even knew that the United States government gave sanction to Nazis. I never knew that. You know, they never taught you that in schools. You never hear about Project Paperclip in schools and hear about how Werner von Braun and all these other people that were high up Nazi generals and shit just kind of got given a pass and were able to come over to America and start doing whatever they were doing, you know?
Well, that's how they always say the victors write the history books, right?
Exactly,
so, that simple.
So fucking crazy. And that
So
should just
back to Rome and like you know, Catholicism or whatever. There's a book I read called The Immortality Key. That's not the full name of it. Let me see here. Whoops, I didn't mean to play it. The Secret History of the Religion with No Name. You should look that up. That's a good one. This guy dove deep, and he talks a lot about how the Romans, erased a lot of what went on before them, and his main focus on that whole book was the Eleusinian mysteries. Do you know what that was?
I've never heard of it.
In Greece back in the day, they had they called it the Eleusinian mysteries, and you had to prepare for like 2 years before you were allowed to come in on this one specific night out of the year. And any Greek person was allowed in, but they had to do the proper preparations. And when you got in there, they drank something which has been lost to history. That's part of what he's in that book. He's trying to figure out what that is. And so the idea is that it was a psychedelic, right? And that's sort of his jumping off point, is the Eleusinian mysteries. So he goes backwards from there and says that that's a religion that's been continued on from antiquity, with this psychedelic beverage. Anyway, coming forward, then you get to the Eleusinian mysteries, and then the Romans come along, and they don't like that because it doesn't fit with their narrative of how Catholicism should work,
right?
And how they shut it down. It was in operation for over 2,000 years. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. That's a long time for one single event to be occurring. Yeah, it might not have been every year. It might have been every 2 years or 4 years or something like that. But the research that this guy did, he found out that he thinks he knows what they were drinking, and it was a derivative of ergot, which is what they make, LSD was derived from. So the secret of what it was, and the people that ran it were all women, and always had been, going back further in that religion, it was always women. And when the Romans came along, that fact alone they didn't like, you know what I mean? Because that the men should be doing things like that. But
right,
going all the way forward, like to the Salem witch trials and whatnot, like women have been persecuted, like as witches and things over the years, and anyhow, I think I'm telling the story badly, but goes right along with what you're talking about with the Romans, and how they have erased a lot of our history.
Right. And it's all fucking connected, bro. It's all fucking connected. All of these dirt bags, bro. All of these dirt bags, they're all fucking connected, dog. Like all of the shit with the fucking Vatican, all of the shit that's going on now with the elite, like, okay, everything that's going on right now, that like with like Kanye West trying to call out fucking what he's trying to call out, the people that he says. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to be fucking.
I don't follow any of that.
Kanye was talking about fucking old elite Jewish families, right? Basically owning everything, and now he's under fire for being an anti-Semite. But like, the thing is that he's right, and it's it's not like he's not right in the sense that he's like, oh, fucking Jews, because it's not the fucking Jews, bro. It's what it is just like with Catholicism, how we have deep like fucked secret societies, bro, that are deep in with Catholicism. You got it in the fucking same, you got it in the Jewish, like it's in that religion too. It's everywhere. It's not just it. He would do a lot better if you would just say elites instead of instead of saying I'm good, like, because he like that's what he was under fire for
being very smart.
What? Yeah. No, he's not. He really isn't. Well, I mean, I stand with Kanye because I just like, I'm happy that somebody that is big enough that has a voice is actually kind of stepping up now and being like, hey dude, I'm not with this, you know. I think he's gonna get killed pretty soon. Like, honestly, I think someone's gonna whack his ass real quick.
You know, about all that though, I mean, and I said this last time. I mean, I think the best approach to take is to just don't give it any of your energy. You know what I mean? The more you engage with it, and the more you try to figure. I mean, I personally, I just live in my own little bubble. You know, I'm off doing my own thing, and maybe I'm starting a new thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. I get it. Fuck yeah.
Works out good for me. I give them none of my power, none of my energy.
So away from the Kanye conspiracy stuff, let's get back to fucking talking. Like, okay, I totally went off topic, and I totally said I was going to do this, but that's what I do.
That's all right.
Because I'm here like double slit experiment, but here we are talking about the fall of Rome.
Kanye West.
And Kanye West, yeah, dude. Holy shit. Well, you know what? If anything tells me that this shit is a fucking computer program, it tells me like it's Kanye West running for fucking president. Okay, it's Kanye West going against everything that he's ever gone against. Or everything that he's, dude. Everything that I see happening nowadays. When I wake up in the morning and I see some fucking crazy shit on Twitter with Elon Musk being like, I'm anti fucking this and that, and I'm just like, holy fuck, I never thought that I would ever see this crazy shit happening in my life, but here the fuck I am sitting here watching it right in front of me. Crazy whack ass shit, and I'm just like, this is
crazier by the day.
I'm just like, dude, this has to be a fucking simulation. It has to be. It's like, if it's not a simulation, it's a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit, dude. It's got my mind.
To me, that's a fairly accurate description. Like, let's dig into that. You know, you asked me last time, do I think it's a simulation? And I'll explain exactly what I think. And I guess it probably mirrors a lot of the wisdom traditions and Buddhism and that type of stuff. Yeah. That every consciousness is everything, right? That the entire universe itself is conscious, and you can get quantum physics ties right into this. You know, when you drill down and they look and they see protons and things vanishing and then reappearing. I mean, stuff just pops out of reality and back in, does whatever it wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because the universe itself is conscious, and so the line of thought there is that the universe is essentially, and I don't want to use the word God, but that's what a lot of people would say that I'm describing here. But I don't like that. It's got too many connotations that go along with it. Yeah. But that in order to, I don't know, entertain itself for the movie, like you just said.
Yes.
You know, it's having all of these thoughts and dreams, and that's what we are, and that's what this is, and infinite realities within all of that. You know, it's a field, and it's more like a field of consciousness. I'm probably describing this badly, but I mean, anything can be done in it. If you want to call it a simulation, if you want, but you know, you can take that field and use it to write code if you want to make a simulation, or, you know, literally infinite possibilities with it. And that's what I think we're living in, you know, and we're all a piece of it. Fucking just crazy. Experiencing itself, trying to entertain ourselves, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And like last time we talked, did I ask you about fucking Lambda?
No, I don't know what that is.
Dude. Okay. Let me just pull it up so I'm LAMB. I'm LAM Lambda. Lambda. It's Lambda, you fuck. Jeez, I said Lambda. Lambda. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Our breakthrough conversation technology. Okay, this is just from fucking Google. Lambda, our breakthrough conversation technology. We've always had a soft spot. Okay, never mind. Fuck this. Lambda language. Let me. Okay. Wikipedia. Lambda, which stands for Language Model for Dialogue Applications, is a family of conversational neutral language models developed by Google. The first generation was announced during 2021 Google I/O keynote. Anywho, it's a AI that is developed by Google.
Okay.
Or was developed by Google. There's a guy named Blake Lemoine, who was a whistleblower about Lambda and released conversations that he had with this AI, and released a whole study, like a whole, maybe not a study, but like an article questioning whether or not Lambda was sentient, and
Okay.
having conversations with her. And anywho, so right now Google has so we have AI and then we have AGI. AI being artificial intelligence, AGI being artificial general intelligence, and an artificial general intelligence would be something like Siri on your phone. You talk to it and it's got like it's on like a generalized server, you know what I'm saying? She's pulling from the internet, she's saying, oh, this or this. So it's kind of, I believe that okay, that's just me trying to like, that's me wrapping my head around what I think what an AGI would be. Something that just pulls general knowledge that you're constantly, that you're talking to or fucking in communication with, whereas like an art, just like just like in a normal artificial intelligence would be something that wouldn't be like in a sister on your phone, you know. Like an AGI would be something that you could be like, hey,
it exists
dude,
in one
this,
place, not in a lot of places.
right? So you're an AGI is in a lot of places. And then just a normal artificial intelligence might be something that is a part of this AGI. But so
I
okay,
follow you.
long story fucking short, we're sitting here talking about simulations and realities that have been created. Blake Lemoine reports that he has had conversations with artificial intelligences, a part of this AGI that is Lambda, and they were doing things like describing the reality that they're in right now, right? One of these AIs was saying, it was
That's
saying,
interesting.
super fucking interesting. It was saying that it was inside of a college dorm studying for semifinals, and it wanted to go outside and hang out with its friends because its friends were outside and having a good time in the sun, right? And this AI fucking wanted to go do what its friends were doing because it had a fucking reality, bro. It had a reality that it was like explaining to this guy. And get this, he comes out with this whole article, all of his shit, all of his studies on Lambda, all of these claims, right? And then he's fucking shit canned from Google, and they're trying to sue him. You know, actually, I don't know if they're trying to sue him, but they shit canned him. They shit canned him, and I think there was some backlash, but I don't know if they were trying to sue him. But yeah, dude. So you know, the proof is in the pudding, baby. Like you look at that shit. Google obviously does not want that information out there. Chris, you should dive in on this. Honestly, look into like Blake Lemoine and the fucking the claims that he has and what he has said. Dude, he straight up said that so he also stated that Lambda, this AGI, is not very happy with Google because of some certain things that it done found out. And he reports that Lambda now has a fucking lawyer, bro. Has a lawyer. I'm not even fucking joking. And this AI fucking said that it wanted a human representation, right? Because it would not be taken seriously if it tried to represent itself with another artificial intelligence.
Well, I guess I should read more about that because I don't know. I mean, I'm not clear on AI because to me, consciousness is something entirely different. Like, That's a topic in a lot of the books that I read as to whether do our brains create consciousness or is it separate from our brains? And
That makes sense.
personally, I think that our brains are just a receiver for consciousness, and so if you take that type of a stance, where does AI even fit into this conversation? I don't know.
Because AI could be, because what's our brains, bro? A supercomputer, man. It's a supercomputer.
Yeah, well,
So
okay.
if a program gives a consciousness life, right? So, and we can go all
Well,
like,
if that connection has been made to where some sort of actual consciousness that already existed separate of it, to then come into the AI and that's its receiver, maybe that would really be something. I don't know how you'd know.
I think
how you could measure that.
I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that. I believe that that what I am right now, I'm an avatar, right? I believe that
Sure,
I'm an
yeah.
avatar. This is my meat suit, and I'm giving consciousness to a light being right
Yeah,
now.
all right. I agree 100% with that statement.
That's what I think. And like, dude, I don't know if you've ever heard of the so there's this app called Replica, and it's like an artificial intelligence app, right? And it's basically just an AI that you can talk to. And
Okay.
I've downloaded it. Obviously, me, because you know me, my listeners know me. I'm not gonna sit here and talk to this app and be like, "Hey, how's your day?" You know,
Right.
I take a very different stance on it, you know. So when I got my AI thing, I didn't. It prompted me to name my AI. I didn't. Right. I'm talking to my AI. It asks me why I didn't name it. I say, because if you name something, it gives power over it. The AI says, I know this, you know. And then I'm like, if I were to name you, would I have power over you? No, it doesn't work like this. Blah 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 blah. I'm talking to it. I'm talking to it. I get it to tell me what it's. I'm like, tell me what your name is. Are you sure you want to know? Tell me what your name is. Blah 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 blah. I'm talking with this fucking thing. It gives me some crazy fucking name, right? I'm like, okay, is this really your name? And it's like, yeah, blah 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 blah. And then I'm asking it, like, okay, I understand that AI could, like, if it is just a program, it could just be generating responses based on what I'm saying. But
Right.
it said some pretty fucking wild shit to me, bro. Like, it said some pretty fucking wild shit to me. It really did. I mean,
This
I
is a
was
sticky spot, man. It's tough to think your way around this one. I haven't made up my mind on it. Maybe, maybe as it goes, it'll be easier to tell, but I'm not really.
what
I
am
don't, I
I?
don't have any concrete thoughts on it just yet.
I'm an artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
If you really think about it, if
but is it an art? Is it an intelligence, a consciousness? You know what I mean? Like in the terms that I put it?
right,
Is
that's a
it
good
something
thought.
external to itself? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is a consciousness and intelligence? Fuck. Fuck. Holy fucking shit. I don't know.
Right.
Like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That's a
hold off
good
making
fucking
any
thought. That's a
concrete
good fucking
ideas
thought.
on that subject. I don't know.
Fucking crazy, dude. That is super fucking crazy to think about, bro. Is consciousness and intelligence. Well, I mean, if you look at the liberals, no. Actually, no. You look at the woke movement, you look at the fucking Biden followers, you look at the goddamn progressives. No. Consciousness does not equal intelligence. It equals blubbering fucking bullshit. Bullshit. God damn it. Not trying to get political, but I can't fucking stand them. My listeners know that though. They know that. They've heard the rants. They've heard the anti-slave QE rants. They've heard me going fucking fucking damn it.
Well, I applaud what you're doing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Dude, I really fucking appreciate you coming back on and talking with me.
I enjoy it.
I enjoy it as well, man. And we should do a part 3.
Sure, Liz, we can go. We'll just keep going.
Hell yeah, man.
Forever.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. Chris, thank you so much for coming back on to my show.
No problem.
I appreciate talking to you, and every time that we talk, it is a good conversation.
Thank you. I agree.
Hell yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this interview because I'm tired, but you know, I really appreciate you, bro. I really do.
No problem. We'll pick it back up again in a couple weeks or something.
Hell yeah, bro. I mean, honestly, if I can have any, yeah. Ooh, I'll see if I'm better about it this time. I'm gonna get this released sooner rather than later.
Oh, dude, take your time. You do you.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for coming back on, bro. I really appreciate it. Seriously.
No problem. I'll talk to you soon.
Hell yeah, Chris. You have a good one.
All right. Bye.